Hi, my name is William Vandre. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from the Machado brothers from Brazil. You are on volume number 5, developing the escape and defense game. On the escape and defense game, these are games that work when your guard is passed or someone on top has developed a game where they're beating your legs. They're going to pin you on side. So let's work a couple angles on defending. My assistant Taylor, here into this position, when I'm working the guard pass, or he's, guard please. When I'm in this position here, a lot of times, if you're a very fundamental student or a beginner, when I'm passing, sometimes people may push away. And they try, maybe, push, escape or something like that, but he doesn't really know how to do it well. And sometimes people's wait, or they go right to the knee on stomach, or whatever. They develop an angle where they're pinning you. Now I'm in a tough position. So I want to show a drill real quick, which is a fundamental drill. And remember, we're going to begin with a bit of some fundamental drills. Then I'm going to go some intermediate and a little bit more advanced. The first one here is I'm going to work a game that a lot of people are very familiar that are in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is the shrimp drill, or I like to call the escape, to all fours. The all fours position is when you're on your elbows and knees on the ground, kind of like this. And when you're in this position, then I'm going to have to work to get back or recover the guard, or possibly get back to my feet. First position here is Taylor passes my guard. So when he pass this side. Here when he passes the guard here, a lot of times when people push, keep passing, they're trying to scoot away, but I get pinned, okay? So when that happens here, I can't beat him or recover my guard like that. Anytime you're on the back, it's tough when you're flat. So here, go again. The first thing I like to do is hit my side. When I hit my side in this position, I like blocking a little bit on the hips. And when I'm going to scoot to position, stuff like that. And when I'm scooting out here, as I'm pushing out like this, scoot over a little bit. Here when I'm pushing, just one second. Here when I'm scooting, I'm shrimping. And the shrimp is I'm putting my feet on the ground, scooting my butt out like that. And I'm going to keep scooting out until eventually I get on my knees. Here, let me just show a basic shrimp when I'm here. You can kind of work this rotation just like that until eventually, to get to my knees, you don't scramble like that. Come back. Here, if I'm shrimping out here, I'm pushing, scooting, and then I try to scramble. Look, he's already on my back. So he's going to get me in a choke or whatever. So here in this position, he's starting to pass. I fall here. When I'm on my side, I'm going to scoot, keep facing him. When I keep facing him, look, I'm flattening out like this. When I'm flattening out like this, one second, here in this position, the first thing, whenever you're flat like this, I don't want to scramble up. The first thing I want to do here is when I'm stretched out, I'm going to pull my elbows right to my chest. Then I'm going to lean forward and bring my knees to my elbows. From this position here, a lot of times you can just come right back to your knees and start all over. What happens a lot is when people are doing an all fours escape, sometimes your opponent is on top of you, or they're sprawling on top. So let's work a couple angles first here. Let me just work this game. Push out, scoot, scoot. I'm already facing him, scoot, sprawl here. Once I'm here, I'm going to bring my elbows up to my chest, knees to the elbows, then I'm back on my feet like this. This drill will help a little bit with your game, and it will improve your guard, because a lot of times there are people who have good guard, but until you pass it, then they don't have an answer. So in between the legs, they're good, you know, stretching your opponent out, getting ready for triangles and things like that. But once you beat the legs, sometimes they don't have an answer. So you need to have a first answer is with the shrimp drill to work the all fours escape. This is going to be working on our first technique, something for you to drill. And when you're drilling this basic position, I think with a partner it'd be really good for them to eventually put a little bit of weight on. When we work that, we're going to get to technique number 2. Okay, now we're going to go into another direction. Here, I'm going to do a variation of the first technique we just learned. In this position, sometimes Taylor all fours. In the all fours position here, originally I was showing just raise back up and face your opponent again. But sometimes if you have a tough, you know, someone sprawling on the back, they can't lift, so you can't get out of this position. Sometimes they even try to lift and sit back, but it's erroneously done. A lot of times people try to lift up and sit back to the guard like this. There's no way you're going to lift up when someone is sprawling on top. So the first thing, let me kind of show you a little bit of the drill. Just in a second, Tim. Here, imagine someone is sprawling kind of like I was sprawling on Taylor's back. I'm going to show how you can go back to the guard, but I'm going to show you something even better than that. I'm going to show how to go to the guard and actually reverse your partner right to the knee on stomach. So here when I'm like this, I'm trying to lift. My opponent is too heavy, too big. So I'm going to pull to the guard. But when I pull to the guard, I can't lift up the head, so you have to touch the head to the ground. Then I'm going to turn and step this leg out, and then I'm going to sit behind the foot. Usually, whatever side I step out is usually the angle that they start trying to go to my back. So if I'm all fours here and they try to go here, I'm going to probably step out like this. If he's going that way, I'm probably going to step out like that. So that's a little bit about what the game we're trying to do. When I'm here, I want to show you here, let's assume he's going to pass my guard, or excuse me, he's going to go to my back to my left. So I'm on all fours. I'm going to touch my head down here, step out, sit back to the guard like this. When I'm sitting back, my head is already under his armpit. Some people might want to push it back out to go to guard, but for what? Keep it under so I can keep pulling him down with me like this. So I'm under his left armpit. This is great. From this position here, this shin is not able to go to the guard yet, but keep it here because I want to use this. When I'm in this position here, anytime you're in a, any potential type position for guard, passing, whatever, you have to make an advantage out of whatever you're in. Right here, I'm going to take a good advantage of this. So here, I'm going to wrap around the waist. Here, I'm going to reach and grab the collar around his neck. What I'm going to do is go stretch him out first to keep his balance off and spread his weight and distribute it where it's not in one area to pin me. Then I'm going to pull the collar to my right, go over my right shoulder. I'm going to hook this leg on glue it to his stomach, and then roll to the knee on stomach. So imagine, remember, his left arm is over my head's under his left armpit. I hug around his waist. I reach and grab for the collar. I'm going to stretch, pull here, and go into this direction. When I'm going to that direction, I'm going to kind of roll a little like this. So here I stretch, boom, into this position. When I'm here, I have the knee on stomach, and I end up on top just like this. So let me show a little bit with my partner, Taylor. Here, he passes my guard. So I'm on the side. I scoot out. When I'm scooting out, I'm going to go to all fours here into this position. Make sure, just 1 second, Taylor. Make sure you have the elbows down, then right to the knees. Here, Taylor's on top. So when he's sprawling here, go the other direction for just 1 second. Here, remember, just so you can see in this position, I always like to touch or lean my head down. Don't raise up and try to step up because the weight is too heavy. So here, let's go ahead and go the other way, Taylor. So here, I'm hooking. Look, I'm starting to sit back. What happens, they automatically are not going to keep going with you. They're going to try to draw back and pull out. When they just go back, when they do that, that's why I want to look up. I want to keep my head under his armpit to trap him there for a second. That's when this arm is going to come around the waist. This is going to reach for the collar. Remember, my right shin is going to kind of go across his stomach. Now, obviously, here I can just get his back, which he's worried about. So he keeps pulling back. The more he does that, great. There's the collar. Here's the hugging around the body. And here, I'm just going to stretch him out here into this position until I roll right to the knee on stomach. And here, the proper knee on stomach, reach, grab the belt, step out the leg, bridge up. Okay, so let's try this again. Here, let me scoot up a little bit. Taylor passes the guard. I fall to my side. When I fall into my side, I'm scooting out. When I scoot out, I go to all fours. He sprawls into this position. Look, I need to step to block. I'm lifting up. He tries to pull out, but I'm going to hug him right here. The more he pulls out, the more I keep my head raised up. Grab the collar because this is going to help me flip. Don't pull him over because you're going to pull him around top. Stretch out first, then pull him over. So here I'm going to go, come here, come boom, over to this position. As you see, I keep my shin intact the whole time across the stomach until I'm right on the knee on stomach. Okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this one more time, and I'm going to show a little bit on a pace so we can review this one more time. So here Taylor passes my guard. He passes, I fall to the side, block, scoot, scoot. I'm going to go to all fours, elbows up. When he's on the position, I'm already pulling to guard. I got the head trapped up, hook, grab here. I know he's going to try to pull out, so I need to stretch him out to get my roll right to the knee on stomach. So when we're working this, kind of be very careful with your partner or train with your instructor. And when you're moving in this position, it's very slow, deliberate. Don't go very fast. You might hit your head or injure yourself, something like this. And always ask someone who's an expert that can help you with your techniques. Okay, so now we're in this type of angle or strategy where we're going to work what's called shin guard action. Shin guard is sometimes called X guard, sometimes different variants from different language. We're just going to call it shin guard so you understand the terminology that I'm using on my leg. What I'm going to work here, we already did the all fours, so we're going to start the all fours. When I'm starting the all fours, Taylor is going to pull back, so I'm going to have to drop to the guard. This time I'm not able to flip him because he's going to have some defense. So here he's on my back, and here I'm stepping out. As I'm pulling back here, Taylor didn't follow. So then he goes down to both knees because he wants to lean back. Notice at this time, my legs, one of them is already hooked in between his leg. So I obviously have action to sweep. In this particular position, I'm going to insert the other one like this. This one here, just one second, is called the butterfly, where you see, the legs kind of look like butterfly wings and the feet look like antennas. So here, we're going to hook here. I'm going to scoot. I'm going to fire under, reach for the belt. This is a drill for you to kind of work with too. What I'm going to do is scoot as tight as I can to Taylor. When I scoot tight, then I'm going to pull him on my back, elevate him, drop him back down, sit back up again. So let's just do the drill like 2-3 times. So here I'm going to elevate him, drop, sit back up. Notice at no time am I holding him up in the air because it's bad for your knees and also it's not a good leverage point. So you're going to kick up, drop down. The way this works good is sometimes you're flat on your back. And here he sprawls. Here, if I straighten out the legs, I can kick them out, then scoot up here to get ready for my flip. So let me go ahead and just do a couple more times here. Elevate, drop, sit up like this. So when I'm working this type elevation, I want to set it up for my next move. I'm elevating. Most of the time when you elevate someone, they're probably going to post their hands over you. For example, like I'm elevating to flip him over my head. Here, like this. Taylor posts right away. What I'm going to do is take advantage of that position when he posts, because I'm going to automatically get him into a different type of guard. So here, I'm elevating here into this position. I bring him back down here. You raise the arm just a second. So here, you see my shin is across and under his leg here. When you're under here, I automatically like to trap his foot to my hip. This hooks his leg to my shoulder. Back your leg out to my bicep. Here, if it's to the bicep, this is going to be very tough to lift him. Come back to the shoulder. So here in this position, first thing I'm going to do, if he's leaning far away from me, I'm just going to lift here to reverse. Come back on top. If he leans in the other direction, I'm going to take him here to reverse. This shin guard action works really well. It's also very good from another move we have been working where we were stretching, sweeping, or even I can hit him into my leg lock, the Zapruder lock. Okay? So the shin guard action I want to work, some people call it X guard, some people have different terms, we'll just call it shin guard today. This move here, let's do a couple more times. I'm going to set the drills for you when you have time to work with your partner or with your coach. Then you're going to just double hooks, etc., etc. So here, I'm on all fours. I'm sitting back to the guard. He sits back. Here, I'm going to immediately get my foot under. Reach out for the arms first. Get my other foot under. Fire one arm, the other arm. I have the belt control. When I'm here, scoot up as tight as you can. This way, I'm going to make sure I get him in the elevation. Here, rock, elevate, down, rock, elevate, come back down. You see each time he's posting. So here I'm going to rock, elevate, bring him right down to position. Here one, I can sweep him that way, or sweep him, take him to this position here too. Here I want to get her on top. I can go ahead and pass the guard. So here, a little bit on some shin guard action. You work this very carefully. Work with the elevation, up and down, rocking, nice and easy. And be very careful with your partner too, because you don't want to accidentally throw them on top to smash you or something like that. Have your partner post, very deliberate. So that way, even if you're not able to flip, for example, I was able to just drop Taylor in position, but I've been doing this for a long time. I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for over a decade. And so a lot of times with experience, this has no problem. When you're a very fundamental beginner or intermediate, maybe you don't have that timing yet. So a lot of times you can do it like this. I'm going to elevate. You can see Taylor's just going to post on his hands and feet. So here, right, like this. Here, just fire one leg under, bring this to my shoulder. Then I have the trap. He leans in this direction. I'm going to take him that way or this way, whatever way you want. One more time. Here, elevate. Fire one leg under. Bring this to my shoulder. Trap here. Go one direction, the other direction. You can even sometimes just sit up into this position. You can do it 360 degrees. And that's the interesting thing about the shin guard, or X. Okay, you work on this, drill it, be very careful, deliberate, and we'll get to the next technique. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about the double hooks or the butterfly, and to a little bit about the shin guard, let's work a couple different areas from there. We worked the one where we elevated. Now, let's work another one. here, I'm into the shin guard. So I can go for the elevation here, but what happens a lot too, or hook sweep like this. For example, if I'm trying to hook sweep, but he's kind of being a little pesky backing, you see what he's doing? He's posting his arms. I'm going to show you this angle and then the other angle. So here it's like I'm trying to do that. He's not allowing me to sweep him. So when someone's posting or pushing the legs, I'm going to turn this into my advantage. One, here I'm grabbing, I can't push it to his stomach, he's posting well. So what I'm going to do is pull the belt, wrap around the wrist. Then I'm going to let go of the belt and I'm going to sneak under the arm like this. I'm going to push the wrist up like this to bend the arm, and then I'm going to drag. The reason why I want to push the wrist up because I'm going to drag him, or what's called arm drag, like this. Here, come back. If the arm is straight, sometimes you might drag and it might get there, or even if it's loose, it might hit your body so I can't drag it across. So here, in this position, I'm trying to sweep to elevate, so I'm just going to sneak over, push this up, drag across, because then I want to reach for the belt. Okay, one more time. So here, a lot of times, this is a good drill to do. You can start from like the sweep position, bend, drag, reach for the belt, come back for a second. Then, if I want to go to the other side, you can do the same thing into this position. I'm going here, so I'm reaching on it, pull, drag, reach the belt this side. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for my drag. Pull, I'm just going to push, pull down, drag across here. What I'm going to do when I'm holding the belt is I'm going to elevate him. When I elevate him, I'm just going to trap into this leg. I'm going to grab in what's called the half guard or half to the back mount. I'm going to be at this angle where I'm going to be facing almost his back. So here, when I'm holding, I'll scoot up, elevate, boom. I drop him right here. When I have him on the back position, this arm is my next move. Here, my arm is already under it like this. And just kind of hold, I want to show you this angle first. The first thing I'm going to do is figure 4 around this leg. Here, when I figure 4, I'm holding, I'm going to hook this arm, switch arms, bring this across like this, and I'm going to hook under the neck. One more time. And I'll switch to show the other angle so you see both sides. The important thing is this, learning to angle the drag first. So here, I'm sweeping, it's not going. And a lot of times, if you just let go and then try to drag, he's going to defend. So what I like to do is sweep, sweep. Then when it's coming in, I can drag real fast. Then I hook, elevate, boom. I'm halfway to the back already. This arm I've already got. Switch with this arm, pull this out, just bring the elbow like this. You see how I'm twisting Taylor already? Here, I'm just hooking behind his neck. And here you can even do this with one hand. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other side in this position. Same angle. So here when I'm hooking, grabbing to get set up for sweep, he's blocking. So remember, one more time. I'm going to trap, remember, trap, push first, drag. One more time. Push first, drag. Then I'm going to reach. When I reach, I'm going to go ahead and elevate him with my double hooks. So elevate, boom. Now this already is here. I'm just going to hook like this, replace it with this arm here. Bring my elbow in this position, hook under the neck. Here, if you're grabbing, I'm just going to pull and bridge, but look at this. I'm just pulling the bridge tight like this until eventually I'm going to tap him out. Because this lock is a good spine lock. It's really good to work with. Some wrestlers use variations of this, but not quite the same as we Jiu-Jitsu guys do because they don't do the guard like this. But this is a good lock. There's other moves here too that you can work with. Lots of times people have moves in Jiu-Jitsu that are kind of secret moves. I like doing that too. So once I'm here in this position, for example, if Taylor is kind of wiggling out, he's got, pull the arm out just a little bit. He pulls the arm out here in this position. I can still tap him out. I'm not going to show you what that was, though. You have to watch on another videotape in the future. Okay, so we're working on this, work on that, a little bit on the spine lock with the elevation, and we'll go to the next technique. Okay, so now we're in another angle or technique that we're working with. The other games we had was developing escapes, guard, reversing, doing some different position. Here I want to work a little angle with the triangle choke. A lot of you may know what the triangle choke is, but for some of you more fundamental people, let me just do it briefly, and then I'm going to show you a couple angles. One, Taylor is in my guard. So here from the guard position, I'm going to go to the triangle. There's a couple different ways to get the triangle. A lot of ways, you know, like some people sometimes try to like scoot out a little bit or just try to loop the leg over. But the problem is he blocks with, it's hard to get triangles that way. So let me show you, I'm going to show you a couple different angles. One, hook, unlock, foot on the hips. Here. As I'm scooting out, I'm just going to push this to his stomach, reach this leg over, lock. Once I lock the triangle here, bridge, push the arm across here. In this position here, a lot of people try to finish. You need to figure four more on your legs. The one thing I like to do is some people try to tap them out right off the bat. Don't do that. The first thing, put the foot on the hip, bring this across and grab your ankle. Here, I'm going to slide out a little bit to the side. Then I'm going to lock. Here, a lot of people also point their toes. Bend your toes and squeeze this way, because here, if you point your toes, I just use the calves a little bit of the knee, not much of the leg muscle. But when I'm bending it like this, it's almost like doing a hamstring curl. I'm using the calves assisted by the hamstrings, assisted by the glute muscle, assisted by the lower back muscle. You know, there's just a lot of muscles together that are working to help. So here you can squeeze and finish them out very easily. Another angle I like to do, so that one here was kind of pushing the hand to scoot. This one here, I scoot out this way, bring the shin across the bicep like that. So when he's trying to pull it out, I keep blocking the arm until at some point I slide it up over on top, rotate here, lock. Again, bridge, push the arm across. I'm going to reach, put my foot on the hip, slide, rotate, figure four. Also, you should always grab your foot to tighten it. And then here, of course, you can pull the head down and squeeze. So those are a couple, very, very fundamental ways, but you might want to try those when you're working. I have a major problem here. I'm going to be training here, and when I'm rolling a little bit, the problem is Taylor knows what's coming. I originally get him in the triangle, but a lot of times you have some people who are real powerhouses. They can pass right through your guard. So they might blow through your guard and you lost the triangle. Let me show you what I mean. So here, I lock the triangle. Let me just lock. Here, I'm trying to get it. He's already passing. Look. Now he's got me on side. So when I'm in this position here, sometimes they don't even grab your gi. They just power through, like that. So now I'm in a bad position. Sometimes people block the hips. A lot of times we're in the guard, sometimes pass and they block. But then you can only block so much. They eventually power through. So I want to show you how to beat him even though he's beating your game. Because remember, we have to work a lot of our defense game too. So here, Taylor is in the position where, let's just say I got it loose. I don't have very good triangle. So when he's passing here, pass just a little bit right there. You see how I already bent my hip? First thing I got to do is stop that from happening. So here, I put my hand on my thigh and my elbow is set on the ground. So when he passes, see I have that basing my leg. That's helping me just a little bit, but not much. The next thing I got to do is palm his elbow like this. So let me just do this real quick. Here, come back here. Imagine I was still triangle choking. You want to push the elbow in that direction. One, I'm not going to let this arm cross face me. Two, I'm going to tilt his body weight in that direction. One more time. So here, in this position, I'm palming here. He starts passing.
push, 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 push like this. Now, let me add a third game that I'm going to need real quick too. So here, when he's passing, I've got this. When I have this, I'm going to let this arm go. I'm going to hook this here, right around the wrist. Come back. So here, when I'm posting here, I'm going to hook this, push this here like that. When I push it, crunch down on this leg, open this out, scoot like this. And then here in this position, I can just cross and finish him with an armbar, just like that. A lot of times, people work in different angles on triangle chokes. And a lot of times, the biggest thing or the biggest answer people have is block the hip or hold as tight as you can. But you have some real powerhouses or people are too fast, didn't have your triangle locked on. So let's do this a couple more times. So triangle, post, he pushes over, hook here, look, crunch down, take the leg out, rotate a little bit. I'm kind of doing this a little loose so I don't hurt Taylor. You can lock here. Always remember on an arm bar, hold the thumb up. I'm a little loose, but here you really want to get really tight here. But here, just for the video's sake, let's do it a little loose so you can kind of see me. Here, finish easy. One more time. So here, post, just 1 second till I come back. Here, I'm going to post here, just hold my position until I can get this arm. When I feel it coming, push, look, I already have the arm. I already diverted his way. He's not going anywhere. Crunch down, out, took him down. Rotate a little bit, lock your feet, finish with the arm bar. Okay? So we'll work a little bit on that. When you work on that, I have one more for you after that. I think it's going to be a really big weapon for you to use after this technique. So enjoy this. Work it with your coach, your training partner. Be very, very careful on this. Very careful on the arm bars too, okay? Okay, we just went through a little bit on the triangle and some action on defending, getting past. This position here, I'm going to even go more extreme into that area. In this position, we're going to work a similar triangle, but this time, what happened was I sort of lost a little of the triangle and I wasn't able to get the arm bar. So let me explain. Here, in this position, I have the setup for previously when he passes, I was checking here, I was reaching here, I was checking the arm for an arm bar. This happens, and I'd like to work on that too. So here when I'm in this position, the problem is he's kind of pulled his arm out a little bit. Yeah, like that. Or sometimes I got a little bit loose or something like that, or it just wasn't tight enough and things like that. And so I don't have the arm for the arm bar. So here, let's kind of work this. Just keep putting some weight on me. It's okay. So here it's like I'm trying to work this, but at the same time I don't have this, so I'm pushing, and then he eventually pulls out, or he does beat my guard. This is something for me to worry about. So here, what I'm going to show is a lot of times when someone gets in a triangle and that lock fails, I didn't get the arm, I didn't catch it in time. I'm going to have a backup. This backup, although when you look at it, it looks difficult. When you break it down, it's very easy. Just like everything in Jiu-Jitsu is easy to do, or it should be. If it's based on athletic ability, if it's based on talent, it's probably not really that great of Jiu-Jitsu. It's just something that depends on someone who has a very good athletic gift. The problem is beginners tend to have a problem with coordination, balance, timing, wind, flexibility. So when you develop those after a period of time, you're able to catch techniques. You might not do them as well as a black belt does or a higher ranked belt, but you can still learn it, at least for the time being. So be very, very careful and patient and deliberate on your techniques. Don't rush anything. Okay, I'm going to show you now in this position. First, I'm going to show you what happens where I failed the one lock. Then I'm going to show you what happens when I'm rolling. Go. Okay, so here, the first lock here, I went boom to the arm lock. Here in this position, Taylor, when you're here, don't lean over a little bit. Just go ahead and keep the weight on my hip. Yeah. So here he passes the guard. I couldn't get it. I lost it. So I'm stuck in kind of a position like that. So what I'm going to do here is, here he's passing. I feel the arm out, so I'm going to push here. I'm going to roll here, end up on my side. As soon as I'm here, the first thing I'm going to do is unlock, crunch down, and reach and grab my ankle. From this position, I don't even need to push the arm across. This is a move I call the side triangle. So here I'm going to push, I'm going to scoot out, and I'll show you the other angle, but just so you can see where I'm working here. Squeeze, look, you don't even need your hands for this technique. So this move I call the side triangle is an action when my opponent goes all the way over it, but I still have control of the arm, I just don't have control of the rest of the body. So I'm going to keep pushing so I can flip him on his shoulder. I'm going to roll with it, I'm going to land on my side. When I end up on my side, that's where I'm going to correct, adjust the triangle, the side triangle, go for the finish. Let me show you one more time. Boom. He passes, push. I push all the way over. You see I straighten up my body. Roll. Immediately when I'm here, don't finish and don't let him face you. If he starts trying to get up, crunch down on the body. Here, like this. Here he goes to his knees, no problem. Keep your foot on the hip. I'm going to scoot out. Look, I'm on the side, nice. Here, kaboom, finish, go. This angle is a tough angle to deal with when you don't, or you've never seen it if someone's passing. It also helps your guard a lot. For some of you who've just been working some fundamentals, this is good to experiment with try. But you got to work your basics first. If you don't know a triangle or what a triangle choke is, if you haven't done the first techniques we've done, I showed you already a basic triangle earlier in this tape. Here, when I'm working on this, I have to work on getting the fundamentals down so I can work the intermediate, so I can work the advanced. Now let me work and show you another angle so you can kind of see it from the other side. So here, Taylor has got me on the triangle. So here, I push, look, I stretch my body out. Nice roll. Look where I'm at. Perfect position. Here, don't even mess with the arm bar. Not correct position yet. Just bring this up, grab. He goes to his knees. Look, I'm crunching down with my leg. So I'm keeping him as low as I can. Here, foot on the hip. Even if he gets go to your knees, that's fine. You see how he's on his side? The first thing you may think is push his arm over. Don't. You don't even need to worry about it this way. Push out, scoot, lock. Here, I've got him fished. I didn't even have to tie that tight on the triangle. One more time. So here, Taylor's going, push, straighten, here, get my roll, here, pull up, adjust, crunch down, push out, lock here, look, adjust the foot, bend, squeeze, you have the finish. Easy move. And a lot of times when I'm developing this with my students, this move, although it looks a little complicated, if you just work a little step at a time, no problem. As you see, I'm doing it very slow, deliberate, and I'm rolling. Just keep your roll, keep your position, and work on your timing. I hope you enjoyed Volume 5, Developing the Escape and Defense Game. And if you want some more information on me or some more of my jiu-jitsu, you can go to my website at www.austinbjj.com. And you can email me, or if you're in Austin, Texas, and you're interested to become a student, you can go by my academy, which all the information is on my website. Good luck.